general, when you compare relay wheat at low population versus solid wheat, it's hard to keep a whole solid field of wheat standing. So when it goes down, it takes a lot of diesel, a lot of horsepower, it's slow, you got all this straw, it takes a long time. With relay cropping, because of all those attributes of crop flex, and because we're taking the top of the plant, our grain to trash ratio is probably 3 to 1 in comparison to a bunch of minions with tiny heads. So we can fly. If it's standing well, 5-6 mile an hour if you can cut it. And you are cranking out grain. So ideally, hopefully we can make it down and back in some of our fields, but we haven't discovered that yet. But look at this piece right here and that planter as two puzzles that merge together. Okay? So to be able to pull this off and not hurt anything for the most part, what we're doing is we're creating a tram row to be able to plant the beans. So we don't use that fence. Pueblo was nice enough to bring that tractor here. The planter that we use, we're going to have to replant a bunch here in a few days. So that was nice that they were nice to bring that out. But we use just a single tire to plant our beans, and I'll get to that later. But then we have a tram row for our combine. So this gap right here, that straddles 3 15-inch rows of wheat. So about 31, 32 footprint. The 900 metric tire the Zach's in front of, that's about 33 inches wide. So that will go right down, and that's my gun sights. So I got gun sights when I'm going, and I'm staying straight. We thought we would be looking at it, fighting the weed with the edge of the tile. That was going to probably make it rip off. We've used pads from a flexi finger in the past, but I don't think they would pick up the leaning weed as well as this system. So I talked to Toby at flexi finger, and he got me into these, they call it high lift triple S's. So you can lay it down on the ground, but we'll probably have them things about set where you're at. So the beans will do the limbo. Beans can be this high, and you can push them down to this high, and you'll just stripe the field. And they might be like, you might think you killed it, and you might have killed 10%, but it's going to crank back up. So we can kind of leverage the limbo there. So this will go in, get up underneath the weed if it's leaning, kind of lift it up, suck it up. We got our traffic, and yeah, that's kind of the setup there. And as I articulated earlier in my talk, what we want to get to is our corn is on 40 feet, our relay cropping is on 40 feet. We have the same traffic lanes, or maybe we shift them a little bit over. But I don't want to farm, you know, if you go back in the hog barn right there, pigs are smart, and they all lean their butt out the side, and they poop out in the aisleway. Pain in the butt. They don't like to sleep where they poop. I don't like to farm where I drive. And if we can get a living root system, I think our production is going to continually increase. And John, his talk really gave me a lot of hope that we can really kind of take this on. We got triple rows and we got 5 rows, but there's no denominator there, so I just did 2. And I had one big screw up this year. I used the splitter 15-inch Kinsey to plant my wheat, which I did a fantastic job. I could singulate the wheat seed, which drove my wheat seeding costs tremendously lower. But the problem was I forgot that I had to put the hitch to the left. So my mistake was I've got 30-inch and then I got a 60. So if I do it right next year, I'll have 45. And what my worry is I'm going to be bulldozing